Hi, this is Bill. I'm the salty old Marine. Let's talk about fraud. Specifically, let's talk about VA disability fraud. Let's talk about the risks, the myths, and how to protect yourself. There's a lot of talk about VA disability fraud. You see it in the news. You can just Google for VA disability fraud and you'll see some. Some of it's true, some of it's exaggerated. Some of it is completely false. But here's the reality. Even innocent veterans can get caught up in fraud accusations, and the consequences can be life-changing and not in a good way. In this video, we're going to break down what actually counts as fraud, the biggest mistakes that veterans make, and how to protect yourself against false accusations. Why does this matter? It matters because the VA does investigate fraud, and getting caught committing fraud can mean losing your benefits or even prison time. And again, Google for it, and you're going to find some veterans who have been sent to prison for committing disability fraud. Social media, jealous neighbors, even other veterans can lead to unwanted scrutiny and accusations of fraud. Many veterans get accused of fraud even without realizing they did something wrong. A pro tip here is just because somebody else gets away with something doesn't mean that you will. And some things that you might think are harmless could get you in trouble. What actually counts as VA disability fraud? Fraud happens when a veteran intentionally misrepresents their condition to get or keep benefits that they don't qualify for. Examples would be lying on your claim, exaggerating your symptoms, faking conditions, or submitting false medical evidence. That's pretty clear, right? That's definitely fraud. Hiding income if you're on TDIU. So if you have total disability, individual unemployability, you have told the VA that you cannot work. And you cannot work by law. If you get caught working above, say, the poverty level, which is what I think is the minimum there, or the maximum, I should say, that in itself is fraud. So if you claim TDIU and you get it, you are done working, my friend. Don't be caught working. Faking physical limitations. Now, this is something that I see very commonly if I do a Google search for VA disability fraud. This seems to be a big one. For example, if somebody says they can't walk without assistance, and then there's a video of them running a marathon, fraud. The VA does not expect you to be bedridden, but if you're outright contradicting your claimed limitations, that's certainly a flag, right? If you say, I can't stand up for more than 10 minutes, and you're working out in a gym for 3 hours a day, yeah, that might be a problem. Not reporting major health improvements. Now, this is a different kind of fraud, but this is fraud nonetheless. If your condition significantly improves and you keep it quiet so that you can keep your higher rating, that is also fraud. A veteran with a 100% PTSD rating, for example, who gets medically cleared for full-time work and then doesn't report the improvement, is committing fraud. The VA doesn't expect you to be in pain 24/7. But your daily activities that contradict your claimed disabilities, that can lead to an investigation. That can lead to accusations of fraud. That can lead to prison, my friend. So if you post videos of yourself doing physically demanding activities while you're claiming total disability, yeah, that can be used against you. And just because nobody has questioned you yet doesn't mean you're safe. Be mindful of what you post. Remember, there are people out there who are unhappy about your VA disability rating. They may not tell you they don't like it, but they don't like it. And if they think you might be committing fraud, they might just be dropping a dime. You don't know, and you'll never know. So be mindful. So how do veterans get accused of fraud? Well, they get accused of fraud through a variety of means. Being too open about their rating, talking about your benefits in workplace, social settings, online, it can backfire. Posting the wrong things online. For example, gym workouts, hunting trips, and extreme sports while claiming serious disabilities. Yeah, that could be a problem. So if a veteran claims 100% PTSD and says they have agoraphobia, and then they post a video from a crowded concert, might be a red flag. Having jealous or resentful people around them. And believe me on this, guys, you won't know who those people are. They're not the people you'll think they are. Ex-spouses, former friends, and even family have been known to report veterans for fraud or suspected fraud. Some do it out of spite, but the VA takes those seriously regardless of how they started. So if there's an investigation, it doesn't matter if the investigation was done by somebody who just hates your guts, right? They're still going to do the investigation. Not updating the VA on major improvements. So if you've got, say, a 100% rating for heart disease, and suddenly you start working in construction, that might also be fraud. Most fraud investigations don't come from the VA just randomly checking on you. They start because somebody reported you. So what happens if you're accused of VA fraud? Well, first of all, the VA's Office of Inspector General, the OIG, they may start an investigation. They will review your records, your social media, your surveillance. They may do surveillance, and they may even talk to your doctors. If fraud is confirmed, you can lose your VA disabilities completely. You may have to pay back all of your past benefits. And think about this for a second. Let's say you were getting $10,000 a year in VA disability, and you've been getting it for 10 years, and you're convicted of fraud. You will probably have to pay back $100,000, all of your VA disability. Yeah, that's something to think about, my friends. Criminal charges in felony cases. Any fraud over $1,000, that's a pretty low bar, is a felony. Some cases end up in prison time. And again, if you don't believe me, Google for VA disability fraud and see how many of them get sent to prison. Is that how you want to spend your years? I don't. So how do you protect yourself? First and foremost, be honest. Tell the truth. If you genuinely qualify for benefits, then you've got nothing to fear. Be careful about what you say and what you post online. Don't brag about your benefits. Don't post things that contradict your disability claims. Even if it was a one-time deal, think about this. Don't go sharing things that don't need to be shared. Know who's around you. Avoid talking about your rating at work, to neighbors, and people that you just don't fully trust. And again, if your health genuinely improves, follow the VA procedures to get reassessed. It's going to suck, right? If your PTSD improves and you're really not 70% anymore, you're really more like 50%, and you report it, and you're reduced to 50%, ouch. Yeah, I get it. But you're not committing fraud, and you won't get sent to prison. And that can be really important. Final thoughts. VA fraud's serious business, and the VA takes it very seriously. Best way to protect yourself is to be honest, be careful, and don't give people a reason to report you. So what do you think? Do you know anybody who's been reported for fraud? Have you ever wanted to report somebody for fraud? Have you ever thought somebody was getting their VA disability fraudulently? Leave a comment. I'd like to talk about it with you. I'm Bill. I am the salty old Marine. I hope you found this video useful. Please like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, tell your friends. And as always, have a great day.